At Ariel Investments, they've learned that in life and investing, chasing the speedy and glamorous, the trendy and hot, is not the surest way to reach a goal. Like the fabled tortoise, the symbol of their firm, the team at Ariel values patience and persistence over the fleeting and flashy. Ariel's success is not a tale of guesswork or speculation. It's one of diligence and focus.
Well, this year, Ariel turned 25 years old, and so it's a special milestone for all of us here at Ariel. And I feel really good about the fact that we've really stayed so clearly focused on our core mission over this 25 years. You know, to be the best value investors and find the companies that are inefficiently priced where we can add value over the long term. Our logo is still a turtle after 25 years. You know, in this world where most other logos are the big ferocious animals, you know, we've stayed true to our theme of patience and that the turtle really does win in the end, and slow and steady wins the race.
We have an approach to investing that we call QEV, quality, expertise, and value. And one of the real tricks is to apply that process on a consistent basis. So when we say quality, we are looking for the leaders in industries. We're looking for companies that have some kind of sustainable competitive advantage, some ability to earn an above-market rate of return over a long period of time. Then we have an emphasis on expertise, only investing in industries that we think we know more about than most people. We think it's very hard to be a good investor when you're investing in companies outside of your own expertise. And then the third and perhaps the most important part of our process is the value part of the process. And we are trying to buy companies at a 40% discount to their intrinsic value. So we're trying to buy $1 worth of value for 60 cents. And that's the key. You can buy a great company in an industry that you know a lot about, but if you're not buying it at a good price, you're not going to outperform over time.
The primary reason an advisor would want to add Ariel to their portfolio is we take risk very seriously, and we think of risk in a very old-fashioned way. It's very fashionable right now to think about risk as being different from the benchmark, but at Ariel we think about risk as losing money, permanent impairment of capital, and we take that very seriously. So with a concentrated portfolio, you have to be very careful that you protect your client's capital, and margin of safety is a critical input to how we think about stocks and how we build our portfolio.
One of the key tenets of investing at Ariel is that we believe that the best companies and the companies that are going to have the best performance over the long run are the companies that are the best managed, where they've got world-class management that's honest, they have integrity, and they have a passion for the business. So what we've tried to do is to make sure with our research process that we really get to know the management in person. Go and see them, look them in the eye and see whether you believe what they're saying and whether you can read their enthusiasm or not. So face-to-face visits are essential in the work that we do. Secondly, we want to build relationships with their competitors and their peers out in the marketplace and other portfolio managers that have bought that stock to get as many independent perspectives on that management team that is humanly possible. And I can't overemphasize how important that is. And then finally, we do work with groups like BIA Associates who help us be better questioners. Those people at BIA are former CIA agents, former government officials, and they give you tips on how to ask the real difficult questions, the presumptive questions, to get people to talk about what they really don't want to talk about, and they help you to be able to read whether they're telling you the truth or not. And I think that's critically important.
You know, everybody at Ariel are kind of natural contrarians, and we're so used to looking at things and trying to figure out a different way analytically to analyze a problem relative to how the general consensus looks at it. And so value investing is really based on that. We're looking to try and find examples where there are great high-quality companies that have some big cloud over them, and everyone's acting out of fear.
Small cap value has worked for our firm because it's based upon a thesis that works across any type of investment. You want to buy low and sell high. You want to buy great businesses in our mind when they're out of favor, because it's then that you have the best possibility of maximizing your return. And you can see that with small companies just as well as you can see with more traditional large cap value companies. The greatest investors of all time really have clung to beliefs around value. And if you want to be the best, we say emulate those who've done it very well before.
The most important skill I've learned at Ariel, and I believe it's probably the most important skill an investor can have, and it's somewhat non-obvious, is having emotional control. As a value investor, your opportunities are created by behavioral biases and overreaction in the marketplace, and that's when stock prices deviate from underlying business values. But to go in there and to buy stocks that are highly unpopular when nobody else likes them takes a great deal of restraint and discipline, and that is a basic premise on which our investment philosophy and our firm was founded.
And Forbes magazine, for that reason, rates us an A+ for downside protection. And it's the downside we have found that really matters. If you don't get quite all of the upside, but you protect the downside, over a market cycle where there are peaks and troughs, you're going to do very, very well. We have in the past, and we expect to do so in the future.
We're delighted with our partnership with AIC. It is probably the mutual fund company in Canada that is most like us in terms of its patient approach, its emphasis on the long term, and its independent thinking. Those are the core values that we teach here at Ariel, and they're exactly what we see at AIC.